How's it going, everyone? My name is Falling Hearts, and if you're clicking on this video, you realize that there's more information about Scorn out there, and I'm here to give it to you. I waited to make this video because there wasn't much after the June showcase that I didn't cover in my last video, which has been doing really well, by the way, and I really appreciate that. But moving into this video, especially if you are a subscriber to the channel and you've seen the previous video, I guess the number one thing is that the game is coming out the 21st of October. That's a pretty big thing that was in my last video that was covered at the showcase. And one thing that a lot of people didn't know is that they actually dropped a second trailer right alongside the Xbox show, narrated by Doug Bradley, aka Pinhead from Hellraiser. And while we got some new gameplay, nothing too crazy, no completely new game mechanics or anything like that, a couple cool shots. One thing that was mentioned in the narration is that Scorn officially has no dialogue, and all of the story is told through the environment and the way you experience the story as the player, which is something they focus a lot on in the Pulse updates, where you kind of experience the story and the emotional bits in your own way. And I'm really excited to see how that plays out, and that's why I'm really excited to see how different people review the game. Some may not like it for this reason, some may, but one thing that you really do need to realize is that this game isn't a shooter. It is a walking simulator with, shooter elements, and it really demands kind of a deliberate kind of gameplay. But now that we've got all that out of the way, let's get into what I believe is the meat of this video, and that's the next Pulse Monthly Update 7.0. And they treat this one a little more like an FAQ, where they answer questions that are pretty pertinent to the game's release and different things that you kind of need to know about Scorn. And first up was actually a question about the Digital Deluxe Edition, featuring what are the two other things other than the game download that come with it, which is the digital art book and the original soundtrack. And they break down that the original soundtrack is about 2 hours, and it comes with tracks composed by both Athek and Lustmord, the two composers for the game that we also heard from in a previous video. And something that they had previously mentioned as far as the original soundtrack is that it will have a vinyl for any of the Kickstarter backers. However, someone did ask later on in the FAQ, and it does say that they are looking as a way to manufacture this outside of the Kickstarter incentive, so that would be another really cool thing to have. And going on to the digital art book, we have that it is 192 pages with concepts, designs, weapons, creatures, and much more. And both of these items are going to be able to be bought separately if you don't get the Digital Deluxe Edition on Steam and the Epic Game Store. And while you can buy both of these digitally, you are also going to be able to buy a hard copy of the art book on Amazon. And it is said that that will be shipping in December, and this is something that I'm personally getting myself. And honestly, the only reason I'm not buying the Digital Deluxe Edition of the game. And the next question was about if you backed the game, which it was a Kickstarter game, when can you expect to receive any incentives? And pretty much if you are one of these people, you don't need me for this part of the video, but they break down that shipping dates and things like that will be known later, but pretty much around the October 21st launch date for the game. And here's where it gets really interesting. There are a couple details here that are a little iffy, but I think this is best for this game. So it is asked, how long will a full playthrough take? And the world spans in a variety of different environments across various levels, as they say. Playtime, of course, will vary depending on how long someone takes to progress through a puzzle, but they estimate that it'll take about 6 to 8 hours to complete the game, which is rather short, especially if you've been waiting for the game for almost a decade. However, I think this is the right thing. A super compact, well thought out narrative where the player reflects on their experience will be really awesome. I don't see these numbers and think any less of the game, and I'm just really excited to experience it, and I'm super excited to see how it plays out. Another thing that came up though is a question about photo mode and something like that. They did say that there will not be anything like that in the game, so you won't be able to uniquely stylize any shots. However, they did say the HUD and UI design is super minimal, so therefore you should be able to just screenshot whenever you want. And then finally, to kind of round out the new information, is we finally got an idea of the specs required to run the game at 4K 60 FPS on PC. And of course, you'll want the operating systems of Windows 10 or sooner, AMD Ryzen 5 or Intel i7 8700 processor, which is, I would say, pretty standard at this point. The Ryzen 5 specifically stands out to me as kind of middle tier, but hey, who am I to say? And then 16 gigabytes of RAM, pretty standard these days. NVIDIA RTX 2070, which is the 8 gigabyte. Very interesting to me. I would have expected something a little beefier for this game, but hey, maybe this will work out. And then of course DirectX 12, 50 gigabytes of available storage, and that is with a solid state drive. So you're going to want a faster storage and something that if you're playing on Steam Deck or if you're playing on console, you won't have to worry about that. And then as you know, as I do these monthly pulse updates, I always like to go over the little developer commentary at the very end. And this one reads as such: we're reaching the final stages of making the game, which also means submitting it to our platform partners to ensure everything is going smoothly across all platforms before release. The team is also focusing more on fleshing out the finer details of the game, including several scenes and scripted moments. As we continue to wrap these up, we'll have more exciting content to share after Gamescom and leading up to the launch. This October, we hope to share an unforgettable experience that will speak to horror fans worldwide through stunning visuals, engaging gameplay, and immersive sound design. As always, thank you for reading, and, follow their Twitter or Facebook for additional updates and behind-the-scenes shit. It doesn't matter. So pretty much this is really awesome and was pretty well received as far as the Steam forums go. What they mean by going smoothly across platforms and submitting to platform partners is basically they're submitting the game to Xbox, Epic Game Store, Steam, places like this, so that the game can be properly rated on these platforms. Nothing needs to be censored, which Steam, there's no issues. Epic Game Stores, I don't think there will be. And honestly, Xbox, I don't think there will be much of an issue either. The only platform that I would ever worry about this game being on is PlayStation, because PlayStation has had some weird censorship with horror games lately, and anime games as well, to my knowledge. All the same, that's not what this video is about. Either way, look forward to more information about the game or the game's launch, which honestly isn't going to be much further away from that, because Gamescom takes place from August 24th to August 28th of this year, which is basically just under 2 months away from the release of Scorn. So at that point, I expect the final push of marketing to kick in, and we'll probably get another decent trailer, and I honestly suppose that'll be about it. I don't really know what else they're going to have to show for the 6 to 8 hour experience that they're pushing, but I'm really excited for it all the same. And if you are too, then go ahead and come back here whenever it's time for the game to release, as I'll have my review. Unless something crazy happens, I probably won't make another Scorn video until then. Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Falling Hertz. If you're looking for more of everything else you need to know about Scorn, check out my other video on my channel now. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.